What's up everyone? Welcome back. I'm obviously very late doing this warm down because the big news that came out today is that Erik ten Hag has been sacked, and I kind of debated about what I wanted to do in terms of making a video about that, and my plan is that I'm going to address obviously that in a separate video in full, but then I had to kind of remake this reaction to sort of take into account what had happened because when I was putting it out. So I am going to do the warm down for the game and obviously talk a little bit about what it was, which was Erik ten Hag's final game. So the game obviously was decided in the end by a terrible, really poor VAR decision. That also I've now seen ex-refs, Keith Hackett, Dermot Gallagher. Dermot Gallagher has gone on Ref Watch and said that that was wrong for the second time this season, which tells you how bad it was. And yeah, that result I think was probably the nail in the coffin. Now I think the performances leading up to that have definitely put his position into question, and even a draw yesterday I think was seriously going to put that consideration into the mind of the club that they would let Erik ten Hag go. But just on that decision, I don't even think that was a foul. It was the second time, like the Bruno red card, that we've been let down by VAR. And as someone who believes in VAR, I do think mistakes are understandable. Not everyone sees everything the same, but everyone saw that exactly the same way. I mean, I could go on to name more people: Alan Shearer, Ian Wright. People who don't really like Man United have said the same thing. But there are other things to unpack. We are 14th. And we've won one of the last 8 in all competitions, including no wins in Europe. And Europe for us this year is the Europa League. So let's look more into the match the match that got Erik ten Hag sacked. All right, first half. Now, strangely, the first half was actually very good. And, we could be talking about a very different situation if that first half had given us the 2-3 goals that it possibly deserved. We created some really good opportunities. Different types of opportunities. We played long balls through the back. We worked things through them in their half. But, we didn't score again. Story of the season, we didn't score again. We're not scoring any goals. I think we've got nearly as many goals in the Europa League as we have in the league, having played a third of the games. We did limit West Ham in that first half, and we've created enough opportunities this season, to have a modest goal tally. If only we could play Barnsley every week. And the manager set the team up and gave them instructions to help them play well and also manage the game. Even though he's been sacked, give him the credit. That first half, you can't say there was anything wrong with the instruction or how it went. But we were let down, unfortunately, by the finishing, particularly Garnacho and Dalot. The open goals, I think Garnacho was through, he hit the bar, and those need to go in. And that can happen one game, maybe 2 games. It's been happening all season. We're 2 months in. That's the story of it. Pick a different name, same thing. The first half, so we broke up the play well, we managed the game, we weren't getting counted on all the time, and I think that was really a positive. You can't really knock anything. A lot of the good aspects of our play this season were on show in that first half. The only thing I might have picked out in that first half was we didn't get Eriksen into the game. Someone who's been playing so well. Some of his passes into the forward line weren't really happening. I think mainly because Bruno was dropping into those positions where Eriksen plays from. And he was playing there, and that's maybe some of the dysfunction that's causing us problems. But the first half was good. And for Erik ten Hag, if only it had led to the goals, he may still be the manager today. Now, I didn't know how else to title this, but some of it will change the game. Not completely on his own, there was more there, but I feel like his introduction was the spark that changed the flow of the game. I've liked watching him play all season, even for Leeds when he was there. He's quick, he's strong, he's direct. And he was an outlet that they could use that they just didn't have in the first half. They're in a triple substitution, so it's really a mark of how bad they were in the first half and how well we played to contribute towards that. These 3 subs happen, Somerville gets going, and there was just no reaction from Erik ten Hag. And I think that is one of the things that I've always been critical of. I think with him is the subs. He either doesn't use them early enough or they don't really work out. The game became more end-to-end. Somerville really got going, and I think the changes that I would have made is, one, I would have swapped Ugarte for Eriksson. I think Ugarte would have done well in that game and Eriksson just wasn't in it because of the way that we were playing. I think Bruno was taking up those positions again. And the big one, I think it should have been Ahmad for Garnacho. I think Garnacho, obviously very direct. He has an impact. He's been working defensively. In fact, I think Rashford did as well. There's not really anything wrong with the application across the pitch in the last few games. But Garnacho, he's erratic because he's young. And that's what they do, you know. I think Rashford, although he wasn't having a great game, a bit more settled, a bit more sort of reliable, not sort of sprinting around all the time. And I think if you'd have put him back on the left where he could have gone, brought Ahmad on, who plays well in tight spaces, and I think that way you could have maybe sorted out some of the end-to-end nature of the game before they got that goal. I think that the game obviously went on and we give this goal away by playing out, and straight away from that first pass I could see Onana swinging this long ball across into Mazraoui at left back, and it's just an obvious, you know, invitation to get pressed. It's long, it's sort of looping into him, it's bouncing, he's got so long to decide, and the press came and we did work it well out to Garnacho, who gave it away. Poor pass to Bruno. There was just no reaction from there, and then it was actually a miss-hit shot. Trickles over there, Dalot can't get there, and Somerville gets the goal that his play deserved, really. And this, as we now know, was the beginning of the end for Erik ten Hag. After that, really, it was chaos. We did get back in it, second phase on a free kick. Ahmad, really lovely ball across, a few headers, and it's 1-1. And from there, really, anything could happen. In this time as well, Joshua Zirkzee came on. He actually got an assist, I suppose, even though his header was just going wide. And we got to 1-1. And what I really felt at this moment, if I'm honest, was we've got Zirkzee on, you know, and I could just tell that this was not going to function at all. I'm really questioning his signing in terms of how can he be a backup or an alternative if he plays so differently. I don't think the game was right for him, but we don't have anyone else to put on. You know, Anthony's out injured, even though I wouldn't have brought him on anyway. We don't have Scott McTominay anymore. Is Mason Mount a Man United player? I mean, looking back on Erik ten Hag's reign, his signing is going to go down as, I think, one of the worst mistakes, possibly worse than Anthony. I think Anthony may have done more for us than Mason Mount, but we'll stop with putting Zirkzee on, basically. The game was just all over the place. He's moving at the pace of a very, very, like a ship or something, I don't know. Think of the slowest thing you can imagine, that's Joshua Zirkzee in a Man United shirt so far. And again, I'm still feeling like, well, if you're going to have an end-to-end game, get Ugarte on, he breaks it up, he can maybe set us on the counter where we want to go. But it just carried on sort of going all over the place. Then came the penalty decision. I think I've said enough about that. I can't stomach that anymore. I've kind of tried to move on from there. And then look, we lost again. And my original note is that the manager is on the brink. And that was obviously correct in that prediction. Look, in isolation, we could look at this game and say, is the finishing his fault? No. Is the defending against Fenerbahce by Lindelof and Dalot his fault? No. Going back to the first half against Tottenham, is it his fault that the whole defence just lets Van de Ven run through? No. In isolation, okay, you can keep saying it's not down to him, but that's every manager who's been sacked, you know, because managers don't play the game. It's just not how it works. It was his responsibility, and our form has been almost relegation worthy over the last sort of 9 to 10 months. It's been so bad. Without that decision, that was wrong and was awful, and I mean, I've got maybe another video to make up Michael Oliver. Without that, we have rescued a draw at West Ham. West Ham are crap. I'm sorry, but they've been rubbish all season, and they're now above us in the league because that's how poor we've been. It's happened several times this season, and the big reason why I think he has been sacked is that it looked like this might be a write-off. It might be that by the end of October we're looking at it and going, we can't really do anything with this season. We've got no hope for a cup run because we can't seem to get going and get any goals, and that's probably a big reason why I can understand the trigger has been pulled and Ten Hag is gone. The players are trying. The players are trying. I don't think that they've really down tools. I saw more effort. I saw more solidity. I saw them working to stop being counted on and giving away really promising attacks to other teams, and it's still not getting there. I've said this before and it turned out to be true. I've never seen any manager turn around a situation that's gotten to where we got as a club. And we can't get a 90-minute performance out of the team. In the end, I'm still talking about great first half, bad second half, and you can repeat that against Brentford. Mixed first half, good second half. Against Fenerbahce, okay, did well first half, really bad second half. It's just a constant, and it was a constant. Look, at the end of the day, we couldn't score any goals, and my original note was maybe we can't continue with this manager. As it turns out, we're not, and I'm going to look into maybe what the talk is about an incoming manager, as well as I'm going to do a bit of a look into who is to blame for the sacking of Ten Hag. But we're embarking on a new era at some point. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll get into that more with the next video, but yeah, thanks for checking in, and let's hope that we can turn this around and we're not looking at another Rangnick situation where the season goes to waste. Yeah, disappointing. It's tough talking about a manager going. I like Ten Hag, but that's not the reason why, because if we're sacking a manager, it means we are shit, and that is something that I'm just not enjoying at all. It's our fifth manager in 11 years. I think that really says it all. Yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Fingers crossed we get something good coming to us soon. Take it easy.